What if Anakin saved Obi-Wan and Satine on Mandalore? Let's explore the depths of it in the video. Obi-Wan. The name rings around in Anakin's head as he closes his eyes and concentrates. He tries to clear his mind and reaches into the Force, trying to search for him. It had been days since Obi-Wan had borrowed Anakin's ship to try and free Satine on Mandalore. Far too long. He should have gotten back by now, or at least reported in. Yet there was nothing, and Anakin was growing worried. He sits in the hangar right beside his starfighter, the place he feels calmest in the Jedi Order, and clears his mind, just as Master Yoda tells him. As this happens, he begins to take a few deep breaths. Each time the air rushes out, his body grows lighter, and he feels his body being transported elsewhere. Anakin doesn't fight it. Instead, he welcomes the feeling and lets it move him. The only thing he does direct is where it should go, to the planet of Mandalore, where Obi-Wan is waiting. But as his body shifts, the calm is immediately shattered by blaster fire. Anakin finds himself staring at Obi-Wan as he's aboard the Twilight. Even better is he sees his master with Satine. That means he's accomplished his mission. But outside, he can see blaster bolts pinging against the hull of the ship. Anakin nearly screams out as he watches his master being disarmed and knocked aside. He wants to jump to his feet and join him, but he knows it won't amount to anything. He isn't there, and even his screams are lost to the Force. All he can do is watch as Maul continues to toy with his master before throwing him to the ground and ordering his guards to take him away. Savage does the same with Satine, leaving the smoldering ruins of their docks behind them. When Anakin screams again, he finds himself back in the temple. He looks around and sees it is almost empty, as many of the crew are turning in. He takes a moment to catch his breath, but then he shakes his head. Without another thought, he hops onto his starfighter and begins to take off. As he disappears into the Coruscant sky, he writes an excuse to the Jedi Council, saying that he is just going on patrol. He soon sets a course for Mandalore. The journey is uneventful, but doubts cloud Anakin's mind. Part of him wonders whether he should have brought backup, while another part prepares himself for the upcoming battle. He tries to steady himself for what is to come through meditation, but the usual calm he feels does not come. Instead, all he feels is doubt. It is as if the Force itself is clouding his judgment, whispering to him and giving him questions to make him second-guess himself. It is unlike anything he's encountered before. It makes it difficult to resist. And yet, Anakin forces his mind to be cleared as he descends onto the docks. It is the same place he had visited before. Although attempts were made to clear it up, these do little good as the scars of their recent encounter are impossible to ignore. Scorch marks and bits of rubble remain. These only heighten his worries, but also make him feel more sure than ever. He is in the right place, and Obi-Wan needs him. When a guard tries to stop him, Anakin quickly cuts him down. He takes the guard's datapad and uses it to show him a map of the city. Once he finds the prison, Anakin commandeers a speeder and takes off towards the jail. The guards are all waiting for him when they return. Super commandos ready their blasters in advance, ordering Anakin to stand down. But instead, he draws his lightsaber. The guards don't hesitate, and all open fire. The Jedi spring into motion, his lightsaber flashing around him like a whirlwind, blocking and parrying everything that comes his way. At some point, it seems as though a shield of pure light is protecting him as he deflects each strike, and one by one, the Mandalorians fall. A few advance forward, but Anakin cuts them down with a powerful force push as he throws the remaining men aside and then steps towards the prison. Before he can reach the door, he catches movement from the shadows and whirls, turning to see Maul and Savage stepping towards him. The Sith warrior has a smile on his face as he regards Anakin.
Most impressive. But I sense anger in you. Yeah? Take a guess why. Or are you gonna do the same thing and get out of my sight? I see the Jedi are as arrogant as ever. Very well. Let us see if it is justified. Apprentice, it is time to show what you have learned.
Savage chuckles and steps forward, his double-bladed lightsaber igniting and spinning around. Anakin grips his lightsaber and braces himself as Savage opens with an upward cut, forcing him to jerk his body away. This leaves him open to a kick to the chest as Savage roars. When he strikes again, Anakin responds with a counter-strike, holding the attack, and then stumbles. He tries to stab forward, but Savage sidesteps, letting it graze his shoulder armor. He then reaches out and grabs Anakin by the arm and pulls him forward, flinging him across the ground. Anakin barely dodges as Savage raises a boot and tries to curb him. He rolls aside and leaps to his feet, kicking the Night Brother across the face before slashing down. Savage catches the swing and sweeps his leg. This time, the hulking warrior drags him by the calf and knocks him to the ground. Only then does he fling him against a wall. Anakin groans, feeling the world spinning around him as he tries to regain his bearings. Before he can fully shake off the daze, he hears a cry and sees Savage running towards him, lightsaber raised overhead. Suddenly, anger sparks in the young Jedi, who manages to spin aside from the attack. He watches the lightsaber slash against the wall, but Savage tries to stab him with the backblade. Though Anakin's anger gives him strength, and he manages to avoid it. Savage tries to grab him with his arm, but Anakin catches it. He knows he cannot hold back the attack for long, so instead goes on the offensive and headbutts the warrior. As he is reeling, Anakin throws himself against Savage and sends him stumbling. He's about to strike again, but a lightsaber ignites between them, and Maul chuckles, shaking his head. The Night Brother gestures for his brother to rise.
Impressive, young one. I can see why my master has his eye on you. There is great potential and anger within you. With the right training, you could be so much more. I don't know what you're talking about or who your master is. All I know is that I'm here for my friend, and I'm not leaving without him. So if you plan on getting in my way, I suggest you save your breath and prepare for a fight. So uncivilized. Very well, young one. If you want Kenobi so much, then I will release him. You expect me to believe that? After everything you did to bring him here? Yes, well, I will not pretend that I did not have plans for revenge when I came here, but it seems the plans have expanded. With you here, everything changes, and I can achieve far more. So here are my terms. You will remain here in their place, and in exchange, I will let them go.
Anakin stares at Maul in surprise. His fingers grip his lightsaber tightly as he studies the warrior. A part of him suspects deception. No, he is certain of it. That is how the Sith operate, and he's prepared to give an arrogant retort. And yet, there is something unusually honest about him, and Anakin cannot bring himself to truly say no. After all, this is exactly what he came here for. To refuse now after everything that's happened would feel wrong.
Not just Obi-Wan. The Duchess too. A disgraced Duchess. Very well. I suppose I can part with her.
In true, it is a big deal, as this will give Palpatine cause to invade Mandalore. He can now justify his actions by saying that he is bringing back the legitimate government, and after this takeover, there is little chance of them being able to convince the Senate to stand down. But then again, this was Maul's plan, to bring war onto the Republic. But for the moment, he turns his attention to Anakin. He must convince him to abandon the Republic. Reaching into his belt, Maul pulls out a recording device and shows a hologram of him talking with his master. Anakin's eyes widen as he watches as the man pulls down his hood, revealing the kindly features of Palpatine. But now, his face is twisted into a sneer, and there is a coldness in his eyes as he regards the young warrior. The recording was quite old, as they were talking about the Naboo crisis, showing just how long they have been planning this. And yet, Anakin continues to shake his head and looks away.
No, you are lying. This can't be true. How could I be lying? This recording was dated decades ago. How far ahead could I have planned it? You edited this hologram. You're trying to turn me to the dark side. Oh, I certainly am. But more specifically, I am turning you against my master, the one who started this war, the one who made all of this possible. Palpatine.
Despite Anakin's denials, Maul continues to show him other recordings, correspondences, and records of their communications. But Anakin continues to deny it. That is until Maul moves beyond simple communications. He also goes on to show Palpatine's dealings with the Trade Federation, Techno Union, and the Commerce Guilds. They have business plans and order requests for droids, and given information to help them with future conquests. Here, there is no way Anakin can deny it. So he instead simply stares at them in surprise, falling to his knees and shaking his head. Surprisingly, he feels a hand patting his shoulder as Maul shakes his head.
I understand your anger, my boy. But you must see now that you have been misled. Everything that happened, the war, the chaos, all those deaths were caused by him. And now is our best chance to stop him. With someone like me who knows his plans. I know how to counteract them, but I require assistance. Will you be the one to help me, boy? I will help you.
Soon enough, any doubt of Palpatine's role in the Clone Wars disappears as he appears in Sundari one night. The guards barely have a chance to react, giving a strangled report before they are cut down by the Chancellor. Still, this is enough for Maul and Savage to prepare themselves. They dare not risk exposing Anakin, nor do they fully trust him to handle this battle, still suspecting his loyalty, so instead they send him away, telling him to prepare their ship to escape as the brothers confront Palpatine themselves. Palpatine stands at the heart of the throne room, silent but seething, his eyes locked on Maul and Savage with calculated malice. Maul and Savage ignite their sabers in unison. Savage steps forward first, his strength brutal and direct. He charges with a roar, bringing his blade down in a mighty arc. Palpatine sidesteps with unnatural speed, his twin crimson sabers springing to life as he counters. He manages to match the larger warrior's strength and pushes them back just as Maul flanks him. His strikes are faster, more precise, but Palpatine anticipates each move. He parries both brothers, then drives his elbow into Savage's chest. Maul presses harder, using his agility to try and open Palpatine's guard. For a moment he almost succeeds, but the Sith Lord lashes out with a forced scream, then a forced push, hurling Maul across the chamber and slamming him into a pillar. Savage roars, blood streaking from his lip as he charges again. Palpatine grins, almost enjoying himself, and drives both lightsabers into Savage's guard. Sparks fly as Savage strains to hold him off, until a burst of Sith lightning surges from Palpatine's free hand, throwing him backward.
You are no match for me. You never were.
Before he can finish them, the stained glass window explodes, and a pair of headlights flash above them. A starfighter piloted by Anakin appears. The boarding ramp opens, and the two brothers waste no time in leaping inside to make their escape. Palpatine tries to halt this by firing a burst of lightning, but the brothers manage to make their escape, and the ship turns and flies off, leaving Palpatine alone. The Chancellor curses and shakes his head. This was not what he planned. He had wished to defeat them earlier on and destabilize their rule, but now he must invade Mandalore, and this will be costly. While he has no problem exploiting fear, this is not against the CIS, and raises questions about capabilities of the Republic and these criminal elements. Back in the shadows, Maul tightens his grip on a datapad as he considers their situation.
We'll need more muscle. The Black Sun and Pike leaders are getting bold. Palpatine wishes for war. Then we will give him war. Then let's remind them who holds the power.
But as they make their way to the hideout of these criminal syndicates, Maul begins his training with Anakin. This proves easier than expected, as his Jedi training already provides the groundwork for Anakin's understanding of the Force. All the Night Brothers need to do is simply give him an outlet for his emotions. To that end, Maul uses the betrayal of Palpatine. He constantly reminds him that the Chancellor has done nothing but whisper into his ear, posing as a friend. He makes him question whether anything he ever said was true, whether it be from his compliments or his assurances that he intends to fix the Republic. All of this simply feeds into his anger, leaving the young Jedi feeling lost and furious. But they do not stop merely at Palpatine. They whisper to him that if a Sith Lord can rise to the highest position in the Republic, is it even worth saving? They point out how blind the Jedi were, and how they have been slowly losing their way. Anakin might have put up more resistance if he had received more news from Coruscant. With Obi-Wan's return, also comes a push for invasion of Mandalore. The most vocal of this operation is Obi-Wan, but just as the Jedi are preparing a military response, disaster strikes as the Jedi Temple is bombed. At first, they suspect this is from Death Watch, or even an accident from the military buildup, but instead the truth is even worse. It was a terrorist attack caused by one of the Jedi, and the primary suspect is Ahsoka. Though Obi-Wan tries to defend her as best he can, there is little he can do as pressure from the Senate and the distrust of the people force the Jedi to act quickly, and they decide to remove Ahsoka from the Jedi Order, banishing her from the temple. Hearing this, Anakin feels what little loyalty he has left for the Republic slipping away, and he commits himself to this cause, believing that this might be the only way to bring an end to the Clone Wars. In the halls of the Senate, tension coils like a serpent. Palpatine walks slowly beside Obi-Wan, his voice low, persuasive.
They say you know Mandalore better than anyone, Master Kenobi. You've seen firsthand what Maul and his criminal conspirators have done. Sundari burns with lawlessness. Satine's vision erased. It is truly a tragedy. The Shadow Collective cannot be allowed to spread. You've already suffered under Maul's cruelty. No one is more fit to lead this effort than you.
You want me to lead an invasion?
I want you to save the people of Mandalore before it's too late.
Obi-Wan clenches his jaw. He doesn't want war, not again. But after everything he's lost, everything Satine stood for, even Satine is reluctant to allow this. And yet, what choice do they truly have? The planet is lost. There is no way for them to ever retake Mandalore without the Republic's help.
You have placed a heavy burden on me, Chancellor. I will try my best to be worthy of it.
Thank you. You're doing the right thing.
In the depths of a scorched warehouse on Mustafar, a Pike lieutenant groans as he's dragged before Anakin. Smoke curls from his scorched armor. Behind him, Maul watches silently, arms folded. The Black Sun captain stands to the side, grim-faced, waiting to see what Anakin will do.
You were warned. Loyalty or extinction. That was the offer.
We didn't think...
Then start thinking.
With a flick of his wrist, he carves a shallow line across the floor beside the Pike's neck. Not fatal, just enough.
Next time I won't miss.
No one speaks. No movement. Then, they slowly bow before him. But Anakin is not satisfied with this.
Now, the next course of business. Your slaves. They must be released. Effective immediately.
This time, there is cause for surprise, as one of the other crime bosses look up. Slavery was practiced by all of them, both in trading and in use for production. It formed an essential part of their business.
What would you have us do? Simply set our slaves free?
Precisely. And preferably with compensation for their services.
That is madness. We will not have our empire rewritten by the likes of...
He suddenly flies forward into the waiting glow of Anakin's lightsaber. The crime boss can only gasp out before dropping to the ground as Anakin pushes him aside. He deactivates his lightsaber and regards the others. Black Sun, Pike, and Mandalorian all consider what he says, and then bow, promising to return with proposals for this unexpected emancipation. Maul steps forward, a satisfied grin spreading.
They understand now. You are not a Jedi anymore.
Together, they begin reshaping the Shadow Collective. Anakin takes a commanding role, crushing dissenters, rewarding loyalty, and reforging the crime syndicates into something brutal and focused. He makes sure slavery is abolished, but allows them to continue their seedier operations. Gun running, smuggling, and the drug trade remain integral parts of their organization, and Anakin helps formalize it. He divides them into different departments, each with its own officers, and keeps their best fighters in reserve under a separate command, where they can provide aid to different sectors when they are necessary. From a horde of criminals, they turn into a proper army. With these forces, he lets them wage a war against the Chancellor. These forces focus their efforts on attacking supply lines and underserved worlds. All of them lack the protection the Republic often touts and are swiftly brought under control. Yet, instead of slavers, they are made to pay taxes for protection. It is little more than extortion, but they make far more reasonable arrangements than the high taxes of the Republic and even leave permanent garrisons. In some ways, it is preferable to the Republic's control. This happens all across the Outer Rim, with more than a dozen systems falling under their control. Many of them are insignificant and poor, but they are still members of the Republic. Those who do not like this send delegations to Coruscant, urging them to send aid, knowing that the Republic intends to wage war with the Shadow Collective. And yet, the Republic hesitates. They had intended for this army to strike at Mandalore, a critical planet that is both highly influential and wealthy. But these systems have neither of those things, and they hesitate. Some even suggest letting them wait until after Mandalore is freed, which they assure them will weaken the Shadow Collective. And yet many of these planets are furious at this. They see it as a betrayal. Once again, the Republic plays favorites and allows the most influential systems to benefit while the rest are thrown to the wayside. Many are furious and even welcome the Shadow Collective. Seeing this, Obi-Wan announces his plans to deal with the criminals and offers to help these affected systems. It helps put the anger at rest, but doesn't compromise his plans. However, he receives surprising help from Satine, who fully endorses this idea. As a pacifist, she believes in peace in all systems and recognizes that these planets need their help more, so Obi-Wan is sent out. The Jedi Master takes command of the troops and begins his march. He strikes hard into these planets, overwhelming the isolated garrisons before they can call for aid. He beats the forces back and captures the criminals. Though many fight fiercely and show more professionalism than expected, it is a losing fight, as none of them have the means to match the Republic's firepower. And yet, when they arrive, they are not greeted with cheers or welcome. Instead, they contend with the anger and betrayal of the people. This cuts worse than any possible attack by the Shadow Collective. Obi-Wan is careful to keep his distance from the population, to avoid angering them further, and yet he also works to restore their trust, showing them that he is not their enemy, and that he wishes to make things right. But as this campaign wears on, Anakin gets word of Obi-Wan's involvement, and sees this as their chance to convince him to join them. He secretly sends out a communication. There he reveals everything that's happened. Yet, when he finishes, Obi-Wan is horrified to learn that Anakin has thrown in his lot with Maul.
Anakin, surely you can see what kind of creatures Maul and Savage are. They do not represent our interests, or what is best for the Republic.
I'm not fighting for the Republic or the Jedi. I'm fighting for the people. All throughout this war, the Republic has grown corrupt and decadent. It focuses on aiding only those loyal to it, or who can help line their pockets. Tell me, did they sanction any operations here before you stepped in?
No.
And I doubt the Jedi were much better at helping these people. Please, Master. This is the way to move forward. If you're worried about Maul, I fully plan on getting rid of him. I've already removed slavery from these organizations. We can do so much more together.
Anakin, these people are not idealistic organizations. They are criminals whose only concern is lining their pockets. You might be able to keep them in line, but they will never be changed from who they are. Please, return to my forces. With this information, we can take action against Palpatine and bring him to justice.
I intend to stop him, but there is no justice in the Republic.
Soon enough, the streets of Sundari burn again, smoke coiling into the red-tinted skies as the Republic forces begin their strike. Gunships scream overhead, touching down outside the palace where the battalions of clone troopers storm forward. Blaster fire echoes through the domed city, but inside the throne room, time feels still. The Mandalorians rush to face them, joined by criminals in the background. Obi-Wan steps cautiously around the ruined floor. He leads his troops forward, cutting down the nearest attackers and then deflecting their blaster bolts back to them. But his focus isn't on them. Instead, he continues to advance, keeping his eyes peeled for someone else. Cody continues to shout orders for the clones, directing them and the Mandalorian rebellion that joins his forces. Bo-Katan rushes to finish off the criminals, her troops flying overhead as Obi-Wan advances deeper. Then, at last, she sees him. Then, at last, he sees him. Anakin is standing at the far end, hood drawn, lightsaber in hand.
Anakin,
You shouldn't have come here. Not unless you are prepared to join me.
you're needed.
You mean for the Republic? They've done nothing but lie. Palpatine, the Jedi Council. I lost everything, Master. My mother, my childhood, Ahsoka. All because of their foolishness. And Palpatine. He was the only one who ever truly listened. And he was lying the whole time.
With that, Anakin lunges at Obi-Wan, sweeping his lightsaber at his neck. The Jedi leaps back, surprised at the aggression of his strike. That was a blow aimed to kill, but he has no time to marvel at this as Anakin advances on him yet again, raining down attacks. He quickly moves to act, blocking these strikes and trying to hold them. Obi-Wan focuses on fighting defensively as Anakin advances on him. His anger gives him strength, and Obi-Wan can see it, feeling the rage threatening to consume him. As he sees him bearing down, Obi-Wan catches his lightsaber and twists it, followed up with a quick thrust and shoves him back.
I know it hurts. No, you don't. You didn't grow up a slave. You didn't have friends stripped away. You didn't have your loyalty twisted by someone you thought was family.
When Obi-Wan tries to strike at him, Anakin reaches into the dark side and lets it coil around him. It leaves his weapon bouncing off as Anakin rains down attacks on him.
I could fix everything. I already have. I've broken the cartels, ended the slave trade in half the Outer Rim. I've given people something the Jedi never could. A real chance.
But not peace, and not balance. You're not their savior, Anakin. Not like this.
Anakin trembles. His saber hums inches away from Obi-Wan's throat, but the old Jedi does not flinch. He could easily push the weapon back, but Obi-Wan doesn't.
I know you're angry. I know you're pained. But you haven't crossed the line yet. You're still fighting for the people. Don't become the thing you hate.
There's silence. His eyes, for the first time in weeks, begin to water.
I don't know who I am anymore.
You're my brother.
Before more can be said, A new presence enters the chamber. 2. Maul and Savage step through the smoke, twin blades igniting with menace.
Well, isn't this touching? The Jedi at last united, just in time to die together. I'm disappointed, young one. You had such potential, and you threw it aside.
Savage growls and charges, his massive frame crashing toward them. Anakin and Obi-Wan react instantly. Savage swings in a furious arc, but Anakin catches the blow, sliding back under the weight. Obi-Wan spins to meet Maul. Their blades clash in a blur of blue and red. Anakin ducks a second strike and stabs forward, landing a glancing blow on Savage's thigh. The Night Brother roars, slamming his fist into the ground to send out a shockwave, but Anakin leaps above it, flipping and landing behind him. With a roar, he hurls Savage into a pillar with the Force. Meanwhile, Maul rains strikes on Obi-Wan, their battle moving across the shattered throne. Maul snarls, spitting venom with each swing. He whirls his lightsaber in a blinding storm, the staff coming at the most unusual angles to keep the Jedi on his toes, and it prevents him from going on the offensive. But just then, Anakin comes rushing in from the side and forces Maul to sidestep. When Obi-Wan strikes from the other side, he traps Maul between the blade and slashes downward, wounding him across the side. Anakin aims to cut at his face, but Maul stumbles and parries it. He whirls his saber staff around, keeping the Jedi at bay long enough for Savage to rejoin the fight. He tackles Anakin and throws him back. This time, he manages a flip and lands on his feet, but Savage is already on him, raining down attacks and driving him back. Anakin finds himself standing back to back with Obi-Wan before the two switch and spring forward. Together, the two Jedi push the Night Brothers into retreat. Obi-Wan cuts Savage's arm, forcing him to drop one end of his saber. Anakin disarms Maul with a brutal kick and sends his blade spinning.
Finish it. Strike me down. It's what your Republic would do.
Anakin raises his saber, then lowers it.
No. You're not worth it.
As troopers storm the palace behind them, Maul and Savage are surrounded, and Bo-Katan promises to lock them up. Soon the two are placed in a pair of Force sarcophaguses that keep them locked up.
What about Palpatine?
I have a few ideas.
Rather than return right away, the two of them quickly begin looking through the documents that Maul had shown them regarding Palpatine's involvement in the war, and send them to Satine. When the next report is read regarding the war on Mandalore, she adds that in the middle. Palpatine's eyes widen in surprise when he sees this. Yet there is nothing he can do about it as the video plays. His eyes widen in shock as it shows all the dealings he has made over the years, from allying with the Trade Federation to commissioning the very droids that the Republic now fight against. Worst of all, it shows his connection to Darth Maul, the criminal who he claims to fight, something he has failed to disclose. Before he can reply, Satine calls for his immediate arrest. The guards, including several Jedi, immediately move to arrest him. Meanwhile, with the capture of Maul and Savage, the Shadow Collective is in disarray, but Anakin begins hunting them down alongside Obi-Wan, using the data he's gathered to help track them and build a strong case. That's our theory. The Star Wars universe is a galaxy filled with exciting stories and possibilities, and we love exploring them. If you want to accompany us on this journey to a galaxy far, far away, then please like, share, and subscribe to our channel.